The morning boarding line was long, slow, and thick with airport impatience, but Dr. Julian Miles stood with unmatched composure, a black CEO with calm eyes, a navy suit fitted like power stitched into fabric, and a boarding pass to 1A shining between his fingers. Yet no one around him imagined he controlled more wealth than the entire airport could count, or that his company, Apex International, was hours away from finalizing the largest aviation contract in history, a $67 billion merger poised to reshape the sky itself. He stepped forward when called, polite, direct, professional, but professionalism doesn't shield skin from prejudice. And the gate agent scanned his ticket with disdain soft as poison, brows raised like surprise was an inconvenience. "Sir, this is first class," she said sharply, emphasizing first as if it were DNA coded, not paid for. Julian smiled, clarified calmly, but entitlement rarely listens. She waved security over like she was protecting the cabin instead of blocking a rightful passenger. Julian attempted to explain, boarding pass visible, credentials undeniable, but assumptions outweighed truth. The security guard asked him where he got that ticket, asked if someone else gave it to him, if he was in the wrong place, if he understood how much first class costs, and laughter rippled from nearby passengers like they were watching a performance, not a violation. Julian kept his voice level, never raising it, never matching disrespect with rage, because power doesn't need volume to be dangerous, and he had power more catastrophic than anyone there grasped. When the flight attendant insisted he step aside, blocking him with her body like a barrier built from bias, Julian reminded her he had a legal right to board, but she rolled her eyes, muttering, "I don't care who you think you are. Real first-class customers are waiting." Security grabbed his arm, forcing him aside, treating him like trespasser instead of ticketed passenger. And passengers watched, unspeaking, complicit through silence. He repeated, "I have a first-class seat," and they responded, "You're holding up boarding," pushing him toward the terminal wall as if removing inconvenience was justice. They confiscated his ticket, tore away his right to fly, escorted him out like a threat instead of the man who single-handedly controlled the largest technology investment portfolio in the country, escorted him past VIP lounges that would have bowed the moment they saw his name. Julian didn't resist. He let them walk him off the plane, not with fear, not with shame, but with stillness carved from centuries of survival. Because sometimes the most powerful retaliation is patience, the kind that lets arrogance set itself on fire. Cameras recorded, passengers whispered, but no one intervened. And Julian, silent, elegant, unbroken, lifted his phone, not out of anger, but intention. He dialed a number with steady fingers, voice controlled like a blade sheathed but gleaming. "Are all board members on standby?" he asked softly. And on the other end, panic flickered awake. His assistant confirmed yes. The contract signing team was prepped, 12 investors already waiting for clearance to finalize the merger with Sunrise Airlines, the very airline that just threw him off its plane. Julian watched the gate agents laugh at their victory, unaware they'd detonated a financial bomb they couldn't see. He walked to the executive lounge desk, presented his ID. This time eyes widened, apologies spilled. Suddenly, "Sir" replaced "boy." But he waved away their frantic courtesy and said 6 measured words that would shake aviation history. "Cancel the Sunrise merger immediately. All funds withdrawn." The assistant froze. "All 67 billion?" And Julian answered simply, "Every dollar." Within minutes, phones across headquarters rang like alarms in burning buildings. Sunrise stock plummeted in real time, brokers screaming, investors selling, panic ripping through boardrooms like wildfire fueled by arrogance. Executives rushed to contact Julian, emails flooding, emergency calls triggered, but he answered none. Instead, he requested footage from the terminal cameras, logs of boarding interactions, witness statements, not for revenge, documentation, proof, accountability. Sunrise Airlines CEO personally called, begging for explanation, but Julian transferred the call to voicemail. Only then did he return to the gate, not to reboard, but to watch realization drown the employees who discarded him. The supervisor sprinted toward him breathless, eyes wide like she met royalty she previously shoved off the throne. "Sir, Mr. Miles, we made a mistake, please. Let us fix this. There's a seat waiting." But Julian stepped back, gaze cold, voice a quiet earthquake. "You didn't make a mistake. You made a decision. And decisions have price tags far larger than tickets." He turned away, leaving them in chaos, letting consequence move faster than apology ever could. Within 2 hours, Sunrise Airlines collapsed on every news channel. Trading halted, leadership summoned, shareholders screaming into boardroom mics, trying to salvage a future already burned. Headlines blazed across global screens. Black CEO forced off flight. Airline loses $67 billion contract. People who laughed at Julian now whispered his name with reverence, fear, regret. The airline begged for reinstatement, offering compensation, sponsored reforms, public apology statements drafted in desperation. But Julian agreed to meet only on his terms. A live press conference streamed worldwide. He stood at the podium immaculate, calm, and introduced himself not as a victim, but as a decision-maker. He announced that Sunrise Airlines would only regain negotiation if they implemented mandatory racial bias training at every operational level, replaced the executives who protected discriminatory culture, installed diversity leadership in hiring protocol, and funded scholarships for underrepresented students pursuing aviation careers. The press room fell silent. Change was no longer request, but requirement. Sunrise had no choice but to sign. Julian returned home that night, not triumphant, not vengeful, but whole. His daughter ran into his arms, asking why he was late, and instead of explaining billions and boardrooms, he answered with truth she could carry into the world. Because some people try to decide where we belong, but we decide for ourselves. The sky outside shimmered with planes, heavy, powerful, obedient to wind, and Julian smiled, knowing his existence rewrote airspace. If this story sparked something inside you, anger, pride, clarity, fire, do not let it fade when the video ends. Use it. Comment how seeing injustice reversed made you feel. Share this video so someone who still judges by skin instead of merit is forced to confront the reality of consequence. Like this story if you believe dignity is not negotiable. Subscribe if you want more stories where strength, brilliance, and legacy break every assumption meant to block them. Your engagement turns content into message, into movement. Every share challenges silence. Every comment makes someone reflect. Every subscription strengthens a community that refuses bias, refuses disrespect, refuses to lower its voice. Let this story travel farther than the flight he never boarded. Let it remind the world you cannot remove a person you underestimate. You can only expose yourself.